guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to share with you another Flicks and Lit video. I know I feel like I've been doing a lot of Flicks and Lit videos lately, but it's because I've been watching a lot of book adaptations and I have thoughts about them. So this one I was super excited about because it's one of my favorite graphic novel series of all time, and I had to talk about it. So today I'm going to be talking about the Netflix series Locke Key, which is based on the same series of the same name by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. So for those of you that don't know the story of what Locke Key is about, it is about the Locke family who, after a terrible tragedy in their family, they move across the United States from California back to Massachusetts to this little island called Lovecraft where their father's from. They move into his childhood home and it's this big old like Revolutionary War era house. And they quickly find that there are all these like keys hidden around the house, and each key is magical and does a magical thing. And yeah, the story just kind of takes off from there. It's very imaginative. There's a lot of like fantasy elements, horror elements. Yeah, it's a fantastic series. So let's go ahead and get right into my review of the Netflix adaptation. I believe it was a 10 episode. See, I should have looked that up. I believe it's a 10 episode one. And right off the bat, when I was watching the first episode, I noticed that it had a TV-14 rating. So right away, I knew, I'm like, okay, the violence and the like more adult themes are definitely going to be toned down, and they definitely were, which I guess wasn't horrible, but it made a lot of the like kind of bulk of the story just more, I don't know, just more like emotionally charged because of what the family went through, and their kind of the way that they're handling the grief of everything is such a big part of the story. And so when that was kind of downplayed, the rest of it was also kind of downplayed. But I wouldn't say it was necessarily a con, but I do kind of wish that they would have kept it at maybe like a TVMA rating. All right, so then getting into the characters, the three kids, Tyler, Kinsey, and Bodhi, I thought were cast very well. Bodhi especially, I thought was exactly how I thought he was kind of, you know, the way that he was in the graphic novel series. Kinsey was a little more, for lack of a better word, a little more annoying in the series. I just think that in the graphic novel, her story arc just had a lot more depth to it. And just, I don't know, I just felt like there was something about the way she was adapted for this miniseries that, or series, that I don't know, it just changed her for me in some way and made her like a little more annoying. Tyler was fine. I had no issues with the way that Tyler was cast or played as a character. Their mother though, Nina, they totally, in my opinion, changed her character. In the graphic novel, she is an alcoholic and is very devastated by what has happened in her life, and what it's done to her family, and she's definitely grieving and just there's just a lot of darkness around her, and they totally like took that away, and they kind of brought it back like later in the season or in the series, but it just didn't feel right, because throughout the entire series, up until that point, she was very like perky and peppy, and that just wasn't the way that Nina was in the graphic novel. And I wish they would have kind of kept her the same, that kind of more reserved, sad, grieving mother. I think that was just a way more effective character for me. The rest of like the minor characters were fine. I didn't really have any issues with them. There were some characters that they kind of added in, some that they changed a little bit or removed or combined, and that was fine. It worked, whatever. The one that I had a huge problem with though was the well lady, because they completely changed her character, and in doing so, it also completely changed a huge arc in the storyline, and I just didn't like it at all. Like right off the bat from like the first episode, I was like, wait a second, like her story is not like this at all in the graphic novel series, and it completely changed. But I'll get more into that when I talk about the plot. But yeah, I did not like what they did with her character and that whole arc, because that was like this whole like force of the graphic novel series was that character and the things that that character did, especially with some of the keys and things like that, and it was completely different and I didn't like it. So now to get into the plot, basically they completely changed the plot and I did not like that at all. Like I said, the well lady has this very specific arc in the story, and I don't want to say what it is because it's kind of spoilery, and things that she does linking her character to the plot are different, and I loved it in the graphic novel series, and they totally changed it, and I don't know why. I don't know why they changed her character. And then there were certain aspects of, because you know, in any series there's like a main plot and then there's kind of little sub arcs that people are doing, and I feel like some of those were super rushed, and then there were others that were like drawn out for too long. So it was just like a weird, the plot was just weird to me. And I think that if I hadn't read the graphic novel series, I would have really liked this. But because I read the graphic novel, and the graphic novel has so much more depth and just, like I said, so many more of those kind of smaller like story arcs with the other characters, the main story for the show just didn't really do it for me. But like I said, my husband, who watched it with me, hasn't read the graphic novels and he thought it was really good. Like he really enjoyed it. So there's that too. They also ended the series on a cliffhanger so that they can like do another season. And I didn't like that because, like I said, the way that the story just worked in the novels was perfect. And I wish they would have just stuck to the graphic novel story, because that plot I thought was really cool. It made sense. There was just so much more to it, and they totally, like, for the sake of being able to do another season, did this like stupid cliffhanger that I just didn't like it. So yeah. They also, which wasn't a huge thing, but they took away some of the keys that I thought were really cool, that I thought had a cool like place in the story. And I don't know if they did that because of like special effects budgeting or whatever, but they removed those and then put some in that were just like, that were lame. Like I was like, that's a really lame key. Like why would you even do that when there were these other keys in the graphic novels that were like awesome. So yeah, there was that too. So overall, I wasn't super thrilled with this adaptation, unfortunately. I would definitely say go ahead and watch it if you want to. Like if you're intrigued and you want to see what it's about, definitely check it out. But get your hands on the graphic novels because they are so much better. There's so much more depth to the stories, to the characters, just the horror and like the kind of like grittier elements are more present in those novels. And it's just all around, it's just a better story. All right guys, so those are my thoughts on the Locke & Key Netflix series, kind of comparing the series to the graphic novels. Please let me know down below if you have watched the series, what you thought of it. I would love to hear everyone's opinions. So yeah, let's have a chat down in the comments. But until then, I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will chat with you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.